Hello, welcome to LTM Reviews, where I get you caught up on the oldest movies. Welcome to my Lord of the Rings trilogy review, and let's start with The Fellowship of the Ring. So, in The Fellowship of the Ring, you've got a little hobbit named Frodo, played by, I forgot his name, but I think it's the main character from 9, but you've got a hobbit named Frodo who meets Gandalf and tells him about a ring that it was about the one ring to rule them all and has to destroy it in some sort of volcano, which I think is later in the third or the first movie. I don't know. These are pretty long movies, so it's up to him and Gandalf to keep the ring protected from this one guy who's trying to seek it. And well, there's like 3 of these movies, so I'll continue a little more of the story later, but in the next review. But okay, when these movies came out, they were big. They were like the new things of Hollywood. They changed Hollywood forever. Peter Jackson directed this movie. This one was a monster hit when it first came out. It changed the Hollywood fantasy movies forever, along with Star Wars, and now it was a big hit. What I like about Lord of the Rings is its character development. I like its story. I like its characters. I like its setting. I like its acting. Ian McKellen's performance as Gandalf. I like a lot of the special effects. I think, in my opinion, is a much better adaptation of Lord of the Rings. If I did have one issue with it, and I think this is going to have the rest of the problems with the other movies, is that the long running time is like 3.5 hours long. So yeah, when it comes to Peter Jackson, and this, I had the same problem in my King Kong review. The movie is 3 hours long. I felt like they were just doing it just to keep that big, long-running time movies. It's technically, this is Hollywood, so that's just a nitpick, though. But everything else is great. And like I said, good effects, great character development, great story, great source to get your movie based on. Very great film, and a great first start to the first Lord of the Rings movies. If I did have a recommendation, if you haven't seen the Lord of the Rings movies, if you've seen this version of I definitely recommend watching this one before the other ones. So, okay, and that's pretty much all I've got for the first one. And now I'll be right back, and then we'll do the Two Towers.
Funny muffler, jerky pal.
Got it! Yeah! Oh!
Hey guys, welcome back. First, welcome back to my Lord of the Rings thing. Now let's do part 2, which is the Two Towers. So in the Two Towers, this continues. Okay, it's from the last movie. We continue Frodo and Sam's adventure from the last movie, but this time they're being followed by a mysterious creature named Gollum, played by Andy Serkis. And now it's up to him to to keep the ring away from Gollum and them heading to the Two Towers. This one, in my opinion, maybe my least favorite Lord of the Rings. It's not bad, though. I will say this. It's not bad. But I just think maybe this one's a little too slow paced. Like, there's some moments in there that are a little too slow. And at least the first one had its fast moments. But this one just kind of felt slow a little bit. But then again, that's just my opinion. The visuals are still great. Andy Serkis is Gollum. Interesting fact about Gollum. The guy that created Gollum wasn't an animator, it was an artist, so that's pretty awesome. Yeah, Peter Jackson did a great job choosing that direction. The visuals are great, the acting is great. I like the scene where they meet Gollum. I like it's precious, it's so my precious, I know that's become a global phenomenon now. I like its acting, the special effects are great, the character development is well done, like the first one, and maybe if I just kept the long running time a little less long, I could have liked this one a little more, despite the fact that this one was a little slow paced. But then again, that's just my opinion. But I think this is still an enjoyable Lord of the Rings movie nevertheless. I forgot to give a rating for the last one I did. And I want to give that one a 9 out of 10. This one I give like an 8 out of 10. But don't worry, the next one is the third movie, so I'm gonna get to that in a second. But overall, The Two Towers is not my favorite Lord of the Rings movie, but it has some good things in it. So, alright, that's enough for The Two Towers. Let's do part 3.
Bro, watch your jet. Watch your jet, bro. Watch your...
I still see your shadows in my room. Can't take back the love that I gave you.
Nobody pray for me. It been a day for me. Yeah, yeah. Hey, I remember syrup sandwiches and caramel.
Okay, guys, I'm back. Alright, now let's do the last of the trilogy. So, The Return of the King. This one, you got Sam and Frodo trying to keep the ring safe from Gollum, and now he's about to put it into the volcano until the army of men show up, and now it's up to Frodo, Gandalf, and Sam to protect the ring and put it into the volcano and destroy the ring. So, in my opinion, out of all the Lord of the Rings movies and even just the franchise overall, this has got to be my favorite. And yes, its biggest problem is it's a much longer movie than the last two movies, sure, but its character development, its moments, its heart, its effort, its special effects look brilliant. I mean, it's great. This is a very good milestone for Peter Jackson. I mean, I think this movie is one of the best Lord of the Rings movies ever, and I hope. Now the long running time is still clumsy and too long, and I will admit, some scenes kind of do drag on, but it really works, and there's some very intense scenes. I like the soundtrack to this one, the special effects, Gollum's performance, Gandalf's performance, everything. Even Frodo's performance is much better than the last one. It's great. So so overall, The Return of the King, in my opinion, is one of my favorite Lord of the Rings movies out of all of them. I give this one a 10 out of 10. Yes, its long running time may have slowed down a little bit, but I don't care because it's awesome. It's just an awesome movie. So, that's all I gotta say for now. I may do the Hobbit one next. I don't know. I may do the Hobbit one next. This is LTM signing out for right now.
I think he wants me to put the hurt on him.
I think he wants you to put the hurt on him.
You think he wants me to put the hurt on him?
Yes, I do.
What kind of feeling?
Hello, welcome to LTM Reviews. Well, oh yeah, that's right. I'm still in the Lord of the Rings thing. Anyways, welcome back to my Lord of the Rings trilogy. This time, now that I've done Lord of the Rings, let's go back to The Hobbit, shall we? So in The Hobbit, it's a prequel to Lord of the Rings, except it's focusing more on Bilbo Baggins, another Hobbit that's relatable to Frodo, except Gandalf, played by Ian McKellen, tells Bilbo to go on an adventure with him to the Lonely Mountain after Smaug's destruction of the kingdom. And Bilbo and his friends, I forgot their other friends, but there's a lot of them. So it's up to him and Gandalf. And in the first half, he meets Gollum in this movie. So it's kind of hard to explain, but technically, he goes to so many obstacles, like the one with the rocky mountains, and he meets Gollum and where the ring came from, and I like and it's a pretty long movie like the other movies, but I will give it this. It's not as long as the trilogy. I'll give it that. This movie's like, I think, 2 hours and 50 minutes. I think I may be wrong again, but anyways, while The Hobbit this is what introduced me to the Lord of the Rings overall. I remember back in my middle school days, we were having a movie day back in my 7th grade, and one of them was The Hobbit, and it kind of introduced me to what The Hobbit was, and I watched it in my classroom, and I kind of fell in love with it. So, yeah, and that's what got me introduced to Lord of the Rings. While I don't think The Hobbit is the best of the movies, I will admit it does take chances. Like, I do like some scenes. It's a less long running time. Like the acting, Ian McKellen is still good. Bilbo Baggins' performance is pretty good. The visual effects, like every Peter Jackson movie, is really good. I think maybe it's a little too slow at times. Like there are some scenes that kind of do drag on, but I think it's still a great film overall. I give this one a I say a 8 out of 10. It's not the best of the movies, but it's still fun to watch overall. But we'll get to part 2 of The Hobbit pretty soon, about in a second or two. But anyways, that's good for the first Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey. Next, we'll do The Desolation of Smaug. I will be right back with you.
You're saying it wrong. It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
You do it then if you're so clever.
Go on, go on.
Guardian Leviosa. Guardian Leviosa.
Wingardium Leviosa.
What are those Neanderthals up to? Don't they know I'm busy spoiling myself?
All right, seniors, let's open these windows so the world can see your nice white clothes.
Looking good. How's yours?
Just a minute. I could have sworn.
Okay, guys, welcome back. So in this one, in The Hobbit, the Desolation of Smaug, Bilbo Baggins and Gandalf are continuing their journey, but this time Bilbo finally finds out where Smaug is in the Lonely Mountain, and he tries to defeat him, but Smaug gets away, and now Bilbo in the next movie will have to defeat him in the next movie because these movies are based on books, and I've never read the books, but you know how I got introduced. I told you how I was introduced to him in the last movie, but anyways, now Smaug is on the loose, and now Bilbo must still protect the ring. So, yeah, in my opinion, I think this one is a tad better than the last movie. Like I said, it was still a long running time, but this one's like 2 hours and 45 minutes, I think, so I'll give it that. I like Benedict Cumberbatch as Smaug. He's a really great actor. He's from Doctor Strange in the new adaptation of The Grinch, so I gotta give him that. I like the acting in this one. I think this one has a much better sense of humor than the last one. Well, at least in any of these movies. I like Gandalf. I like Bilbo in this one. I like the character development. I like the villains in this one. I forgot their names, but then again, due to how long these movies are, I couldn't keep track. But anyways, I like its effects. I like its great cinematography in this one. I like its soundtrack. Although I prefer the Hobbit, the original Hobbit soundtrack than this one, it's still great to listen to. I think the Lonely Mountain part looks great. The acting's still good. It's just a really great film it's a really good movie in the franchise. Well, I don't think. Well, okay, I will admit it's a tad better than The Hobbit, the Unexpected Journey movie. I will admit, but this one, in my opinion, is the best out of all the Hobbit movies, especially this last one we're going to get to. But, anyways, that's all I got to say for The Desolation of Smaug. Okay, we're almost done. Just one more to go, and I think we should be good. I will be right back for the last one.
Larry, what the hell are you doing?
Larry!
Larry, you can't just...
Oh, Larry! Oh, are you all right? How did...
Larry! Righto, what's going on here?
Oh, sir, I'm arrested. Oh!
Alright, everyone, this is the last movie of the franchise. I've watched all 6 movies, and this is the last one, the Battle of the Five Armies. So, just like the other movies, we have to go back to the last one, with Bilbo finally letting out Smaug and him destroying the city, or his town that they call it, or the kingdom. And now, after defeating, now that Smaug is dead, I guess, he has to now battle the 5 armies. And this is where the movies start to get really confusing and boring. Now, at least with the first 2 movies, I will admit that as long as they are, they're at least fun to watch, even if how long they are. Same with the King Kong remake back then. This one, scenes just kind of drag on a lot. It was really boring. I even though I like some of the sets and stuff, and the visuals are great, I will admit that this is my least favorite Lord of the Rings movie. It's not horrible, it's just not my favorite. You know, the special effects still look good, and then the acting is still great. The musical score, like the other movies, are very well done. I just think maybe this one's kind of boring to me. But even though this is a very shorter Hobbit movie than the other movies, even the Lord of the Rings, but you have to admit though, sometimes when a scene is boring, it's really, really boring. It just drags on a little bit, but it's not horrible and it's not bad. It's just not my favorite, though. It's not my favorite Hobbit or Lord of the Rings movie, but it's still fine. Like I said, the acting's fine, the musical score is brilliant, and the special effects, just like every Peter Jackson film, is still good. I just think maybe if it had a little bit more time and effort like the other movies, and yeah, I mean, it don't have to be that long, maybe it could have been a lot better than the others. But for me, it just wasn't that great, and it's kind of sad to end it on a low note. Overall, I guess if you want to finish The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, I say stick with it. But for me, I would just end it and just stick with the first two of The Hobbit. But so okay, we're finally done with Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. I really appreciate you guys with my Lord of the Rings marathon and this one big giant video, which I don't know how long it's gonna be, but I appreciate y'all watching all 6 reviews and my opinions on these movies. These movies changed the world by storm when they first came out. They broke over $1 billion or $2 billion at the box office. They were huge back then. Although not as popular now, people still reference them. They still do the parodies and satires. They do them. These were just wonderful movies growing up. And like I said, even though I wasn't introduced to it during my 7th grade, I still enjoy these movies overall. And I think they're one of the best sci-fi fantasy movies of the 2000s and a little bit of the 2010s. Well, I better go. Please subscribe. I hope you enjoy these reviews. And I hope you enjoyed my memes too. There's been a lot of these. This is LTM signing out. We'll see you next time.
¿Alguno queremos hacer un truco? No. Vamos a hacer este truco. Hey!